play of the game from way down.
True, silence. Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bombs going.
Oh my goodness, the ring! Bombstats Dingo gonna find Rainer!
Oh, the life finder keeps Maev up. It was gonna be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill.
All right, welcome everybody to the Nexus Gaming Series. I'm Aero, and tonight I am joined by MrSadPanda. Welcome. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing pretty well. Nice long weekend ahead of us. Can't complain.
If you're in the States, I don't know if Canada has an equivalent holiday or not, but certainly if you're in the States, sure. So tonight's matchup here is going to be between Beast Coast and Minion Miners. So a pretty overall important matchup here, as this is the number 2 and number 4 currently ranked. Let's go ahead and show you those standings here as soon as they want to load. There we go. And we do have map information. Go ahead. I'm going to let them get the draft started here because we can do the maps while they're getting started on the draft. So again, number 2 and number 4, Beast Coast with a domination could actually go all the way, well, could tie Minion Miners and the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit, which ultimately would put Minion Miners at 4th place. But if they take a domination here, they get tied for 1st place. So very interesting matchup here tonight, very important for both of these teams. And a quick look at the maps here as the draft is already underway. Beast Coast banning out Infernal Shrines and Tomb of the Spider Queen, with Minion Miners banning out Sky Temple and Towers of Doom. Looks like this was Minion Miners' map pick. Let's hop over the draft here. All right.
Yeah, definitely should be a pretty interesting game with so much at stake here, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, for sure. And Division B is a little bit of a hotbed of activity and spiciness this season. So a lot of mostly, reasonable trash talk going on. trying to be as diplomatic about it as possible, but we will see how these two teams battle it out tonight.
Yeah, you gotta love competition. That's basically all I can say to that. A lot of people think nerds are nerds, but they've still got some competitive spirit. So, trash talk. Everybody, I think, in any sport understands where it comes from. So you've got to respect it a little bit.
Yep, throwing down the WWE style, and Ragnaros is going to be the first pick, which is kind of a abnormal option, but a hero that Monkus has definitely expressed interest in. We're going to see Murderin with Falstad, and so one global here. What else do they pick up with that? Oh, okay, well, apparently they're going to pick up a Stukov.
Yeah, I'm not too sad about the rag pick, just for the wave clear on Cursed. It's kind of nice just to have that sustaining clear, so.
Yeah, for sure. So, and we've seen, I don't know if you saw this, this was last season, but we actually saw a highlight reel on the NGS Nexus Edge where Ragnaros on Cursed Hollow threw out a lava wave mid lane and then popped Molten Core on the enemy side of the map and just obliterated the whole team. It was absolutely disgusting. And, the kind of moment where the stars have to align to make it happen, but it looked so good.
The player feels like a little bit of a god in that instance, I'm sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So the Illidan ban, probably because of that Abathur pickup there. But it wouldn't surprise me, you know, an Abathur Kira. I actually got to try that out today, and it was pretty disgusting.
I could definitely see that with a little bit of extra attack speed. Kira just popping off.
And the double clone, too.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's a lot of mobility.
Yeah, for sure. And so we see now kind of doubling down on this global between the Falstad and Zagara here. Going to allow them to be in the far lanes away from the team, but still make it to those objectives pretty easily.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting how, because it kind of is like that counter push with the Abathur and the Rag, just looking for the minion wave clears. But definitely the Zagara and Falstad can keep up with that. And just those globals really help with being able to kind of stem the bleeding on those slow push long games that it looks like we're setting up for here.
So we've got Abathur. We have no auto attack really, I guess technically, other than the Rag in a way. But I mean, they don't go monstrosity, right? With this?
I don't know what they would counter or what they would couple it with. Maybe you have a big front line with a double clone on Kael'thas.
That's the only thing I can think of.
But that looks pretty crazy, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we're gonna find out here pretty soon. We also do have the Artanis Blaze, so Marshall on the Artanis there. Kind of a unique draft from both sides of this, and I honestly have no idea who I give the advantage to, because I mean, I want to say to Minion Miners on the right here because of the globals, but that being said, then you've got the Ragnaros Abathur, which kind of operate in the same way at level 10. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like I was saying. It's definitely a pick counter pick kind of thing, right? I mean, on the blue side, we've definitely got a lot of pushability, but the globals counter it very well.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and introduce our teams here. Pick one and go ahead and introduce them, and I'll pick the other one.
Why don't you go first, since I'm not sure which colors are which?
Well, on the left, we have Beast Coast. Saris on the Johanna, RGB Fox on the Abathur, Supergoat on Ana, Secret 333 on Kael'thas, and Munkus on Ragnaros.
And on the right in the red, we've got the Minion Miners. We've got Himibo on the Blaze, Murderin on that Falstad, New Flash going to be picking up the Stukov, Marshall on the Artanis, and down in the bot lane, all by himself, Sir Mac of Cheese on the Zagara.
So there goes the Falstad up to the top to deal with the Rag and Abathur in the top lane here. And, you know, interestingly enough, Blaze picking up Adrenaline Stim Pack. So now in the last week, I think I've seen every level 1 talent picked by Blaze. This one probably the least often picked, so kind of an interesting setup with that. Also the Falstad bribe, so you guys are gonna have to excuse my dogs. They have opinions on everything. If only they spoke human. So anything out of these other talents here, these level 1 talents, that is of interest to you, that you think provides extra value here?
Nothing too out of the ordinary that I can really think of. Yeah, there's definitely not anything too crazy. It is a little interesting with the biotic grenade. Kind of like you said earlier, we don't really have much brawl ability. So area of effect heal without a real brawl heavy team is a little confusing to me, but we'll see how it works.
Yeah, and I think that's just kind of been her standard level 1. I couldn't even tell you what the other level 1s do... Well, no, that's not true. There's the auto attack quest, which increases your healing. I don't remember the other one. I think it might be related to her sleep darts, maybe?
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of what I was getting at too. Is like the level 1 talents are all pretty standard picks.
Yeah,
so.
and chat calling out here the sneaky Kael'thas that got picked off by the Blaze, and unfortunately, while chat noticed it, I did not, so we did not get to see that kill. But we do see a big push in the bot lane here against the Kael'thas. Never mind, Artanis is going back. But there is this siege camp coming along, so this is going to cause a little bit of a delay coming out from the Kael'thas. If Zagara even bothers to come. I mean, she gets a lot of value down here, especially with this push from the siege giants.
There's a ton of push, and the creep doing really well with these creep tumor placements. She's keeping them out of range of one flame strike at least, so that creep's gonna get annoying, just as even as like a mana pull on the Kael'thas.
And, you know, really unfortunate for the Kael'thas there, because she got that creep tumor dropped immediately after he broke it, so probably didn't even notice that she dropped it. But the first objective going over here to minion miners, and now Monkus in danger, has no mana and is out of health. So 2 kills to 0 so far from minion miners. But take a look at this bot lane. Already 1 tower down, almost the 2nd tower. And yeah, that tumor's still there in that bush. So right now, let's pop up these talents here as level 7 coming online for minion miners. Next tribute coming up in the top lane. I didn't lose you in chat, did I?
Nope.
Okay, just making sure.
Yep, I'm still here. Yeah, this will be... Level 7 engagement will be a good setup to see what else is going to go on. The minion miners here have been pretty dominant so far. Like you said, pushing the bot lane, now half damage down on that first fort already. And really, they really picked up that first tribute uncontested.
Yeah, Johanna here able to complete that subdue quest at level 7 almost instantly, just shortly after picking it up. But Rag coming in, the swap and the kill, and this minion miners team. So we do see that Beast Coast was able to pick up that top tribute themselves. So now it's 1-1. Both teams getting those essentially uncontested, as you mentioned there earlier. But really, minion miners doing what they need to do to be very aggressive early against this Abathur and Ragnaros setup, because, you know, once they get to level 10, Ragnaros can start getting all that extra XP. And oh, the swap onto Super Goat, and that is a dead grandma, right? She has to die here.
Oh,
there's
the hat,
no way she lives.
the shield.
Oh my goodness.
The Abathur coming in clutch there on that save.
Indeed.
And yeah, I like the comment you made about just being aggressive enough to kind of burn through this comp. Abathur picked up Mule and hasn't really had any ability to restore any health on anything right now. Just because that Zag had so much push in the bot lane. Now rotating up to the top lane and probably gonna look to lay siege on the top as well.
Yeah, level 10's now online here, so we do see the Nidus coming up for Zagara, and by the way, all the while that, you know, fight was over in the mid lane, Zag was able to completely push and destroy the bottom fort entirely. Thus, as you mentioned, negating the value of Mule.
I'm a little curious what you think about the Blaze ult on the combustion. It definitely kind of negates, if Cologne is picked up, it negates a lot of the team fight brawl that we could have seen. But I'm not sure how much combustion's played even.
It's the go-to pick at this point. Bunker got tuned up so heavily, like almost double, I think, the cooldown. So unless you're going into specific specific ultimates, it's almost never picked up.
That would do it. Yeah, as I said, I've been a little bit away from the scene for a while, so some of these intricacies are lost on me.
Well, we are going to see a fight breaking out away from the tribute here. Johanna already at half health, but the Hinterland's blast going out. New Flash, however, surrounded by the front line of Beast Coast and is going to go down. So that's going to be the first kill for Beast Coast. Now, as they have Kael'thas clone in the background trying to zone for picking up the tribute, and they do get that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Secret 333 had to feel pretty good about that Flame Strike to initiate that fight. I'm pretty sure he got an unqueued or an undeed 3-man Flame Strike first starts on that initiation, which always feels a little bit good.
Yeah, for sure. And again, you know, in the bot lane here, Zag, they had the siege camp. Zag was able to pressure this basically all the way up to the fort. The keep, rather, the keep wall.
Yeah, she's done a really good job of forcing that Abathur to sit in the bottom lane. This Abathur has been, I mean, went from top, and as soon as that fort fell, had to go down and sit in right in that keep gate. And he's pretty much been pinned down there for most of the game now.
Yep, and with the kill onto the Falstad in the mid lane there, this is all but going to guarantee Beast Coast this curse, question mark, as lots of stall is coming out from that Zagara.
The posturing, the posturing. I still think it definitely goes to Beast Coast, but the Falstad with the fly and the Hinterland blast. That was pretty big.
What a crazy combo! We had the clone going out onto the Kael'thas, but just enough delay, allowing for Falstad to show up and just obliterate 1, 2, 3 heroes, and ultimately trade out Artanis and now finally Kael'thas now as well. So the curse is going to go over instead to Minion Miners.
Yeah, that was a big, as you said, a huge delay from the Zag there. I think that Beast Coast was just trying to avoid a lot of the damage coming out from her instead of focusing on grabbing that tribute, giving just enough time for the Falstad to get there and really turn the fight there.
And there's the flailing swipe, followed up by the Blessed Shield, though. Saris getting the lockdown just enough to secure the kill onto Stukov there. And the chase is on, trying to catch up to Himibo, but there's enough elsewhere to deal with right now that I don't know that they're going to be able to... Yeah, okay. I was going to say that I don't know that they're going to be able to catch up there. And Abathur paying attention there, getting out just in time as that sidewall went down.
I liked the cheeky bribe from the Falstad on this siege camp.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, the bulk of the Beast Coast team was showing, you know, trying to clear up the lanes elsewhere, but we are again going to see the laser going out, this time onto Munkus. However, it's not going to be enough. Marshhole and Zagara both going down with this engage and the rotation up from Beast Coast. Now they're going to head on over to this boss and try to counter some of the pressure. But keep in mind, as you mentioned earlier, the siege camp was picked up by Falstad. Nobody seems to know that.
Yeah, the Abathur's trying to control it with some mines, but he's only done half damage, and it's taken out the entire front gate. That's pretty high value for a siege camp, especially in that position this early in a game.
So with this boss, I was going to say, we'll see, are they going to rotate down and pick up the other boss to alleviate some of that bottom pressure, or are they going to try to push with this? Right now, they're not pushing with it. They're just clearing up the camps in the middle lane. Again, Siege Giant still going. It's now dead. The minions eventually cleared it out, so they lost all of the wall. I mean, that's free XP that Minion Miners gets, and so they get level 16 first.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a level 16 advantage, though, with the pickup of this boss, and then Beast Coast can go ahead and clear that bottom lane, so we won't see an engagement with 16 talent here in favor of the Minion Miners, but still definitely a ton of value. And again, completely devaluing the Mule of Abathur, right? With that gate entirely gone, Mule does nothing anymore. So again, Minion Miners just ensuring that they've cleaned up everything that they need to so that Mule becomes essentially a useless talent.
Yep, until you have that clutch moment where you drop a mule and you put your hat on it so you can get some extra damage. But this boss getting cleared out really fast here. The swap on a Monkus, but the jet propulsion misses. Ironskin popped, pulling the condemn here. Supago getting caught by that hinterland blast just at the end of it, though. But Ana is once again likely to go down. There it is. Kale Thoss following up right behind, and Johanna as well. And you know, Rag is in a little bit of an awkward spot, and that's going to be all 4 of the Beast Coast team members going down here. This is a free keep now.
I've got to say, I think that you cursed the Rag talking about that highlight earlier, because that was kind of the opposite of that highlight, where it looked like it was going to be good, and then his team kind of crumbled, and then his Molten Core ended up just killing him and nobody else.
Yeah, and that's an unfortunate moment too, when you're like, it's okay, guys, I got this. Guys? Where'd everybody go? All right, well, the team is back online here for Beast Coast. They did lose a fort out of that. They lost their close bruiser camp here, but they're still in this game. They've got level 16s, not too for them, level and a half back on getting to level 20, but they do also still have 2 tributes. So the next tribute could open up so much of the map for them, especially with having the lava wave pressure, if they can get a curse.
Yeah, and the lanes aren't too pushed right now, to be honest, right? Mid lane is just at a neutral state, so a curse would do a huge number for Beast Coast right now. But with all 5 Minion Miners here, I'm not sure.
Well, here it goes. There's the Blessed Shield going out. The jet propulsion misses, but there's Purification Beam onto, or Purifier Beam rather, onto Ana, and she's going to go down. Hinterland's Blast coming out. Sara's trying to slow down and peel for the team, but there's just so much coming out of Blaze and Artanis running it down.
Yeah, that was a huge combustion from the back there from the Blaze. I think it got a 4-man combustion there and slowed everybody. I think Beast Coast was like thinking they were in a great spot, and then here comes Blaze just kind of trundling in from the back.
Oh no. Oh, I wish I would have caught that. Oh, poor Abathur.
The Slabathur. Slammed, said the Minion Miners. With 20s now, they'll probably push this keep down. I cannot see Minion Miners not taking this keep.
Yeah, this is tough, because now without level 20s here, obviously they still have 3 people dead, but without level 20s, they're not going to be able to grab that tribute either, and this is curse point for either team.
Yeah, this is pretty brutal.
Not only
Zag,
that,
meanwhile, solo pushing.
Not only that, the first boss is coming up here. 20 seconds. Well, now it's 10 seconds for this top boss. So, and this is looking pretty bleak for Beast Coast here. The potential for a boss on top of a curse, on top of a mid lane bruiser camp, on top of a bot lane siege camp. I mean, how much more do you have to win this game?
Yeah, this is kind of a little bit much. Maybe some showboating from the Minion Miners here. Beast Coast will be in position to contest the tribute at least. I think they knew that they had to.
Not in a very good position, though. They don't have Kael'thas. The swap going out onto Monkus deep into the red health bars. The tribute picked up. That is curse point here. Supergoat, though, keeping Ragnaros alive. So at least everybody making it out.
Yeah, those were some pretty clutch healing darts there from Supergoat. But that being said, it's kind of futile at this. Lava Wave is going to go out and do quite a bit of damage, but I don't think there's much left in the tank here for Beast Coast.
Yeah, and they're still down 20s, but take a look in the mid lane, in the bot lane. Core falling to so much pressure. And that's going to be game number 1 going over to Minion Miners. Yeah, and I mean, certainly, you know, I wouldn't go so far as to say showboating. You know, the reality of it is that, you know, when you're playing this game, you play to win, right? You do what you have to do to make sure that you win, and there are some circumstances where things happen and something you didn't account for, you didn't calculate, goes against you, and all of a sudden there's a team wipe, and now you lose the game. But you know what? Minion Miter said, there's absolutely no way we're going to lose this game. We're going to take absolutely everything on the map to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Yeah, you know, I agree entirely. I grew up playing soccer, and I had a coach once that said, you know, you guys are really good, and you're really good at knocking your team down. But once you've got them down, half the time you give them a hand and pull them back up and put them right back in this game. And he said, if you've got somebody down and you're really competitive, instead of helping them up, you jump right on top of them and keep them down. And that's exactly what the Minion Miners did with that boss.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's there was some chat about I don't remember if it was Div B or if it was in one of the other chats in NGS. Anyways, there was conversation about Ender's game, and of course, Ender's philosophy being to end your opponent, right? Like, absolutely make sure they cannot come back to cause you any problems. Spoiler alert: that's how he succeeds against the Formic army. But that's kind of what we saw here too, right? You make the play to make sure that there is absolutely nothing your opponent can do to get back into the game. Let's see. So, SadPanda as please. So it looks like game number 2 is already set up here and ready to go. We got teams coming into the lobby, and we're gonna go to Braxis Holdout. Let's see who picked this. Team 1 picked this. Now, you mentioned you've been out of the scene a little bit, so Braxis Holdout changed, depending on how long you've been out of the scene, possibly twice.
Probably twice. It has been a while.
So it went to where the control points automatically gave even the losing side a pretty significant, like half of a Zerg wave.
Yep.
And then the control points were set up so that as soon as you stepped on it, it stopped channeling. So it was that way for a while, a year or more or so. And then more recently, they changed it back so that it works like Dragonshire. They reduced the Zerg waves, but they gave the bigger Zerg drop pods so that if you just ignore the Zerg wave, it'll keep growing over time with these smaller minions.
That's disgusting. Yeah, I definitely have not played since the last... Well, I've played, but didn't know that was a change that happened. Yeah, that's disgusting.
So it means that in some ways it's easier, in some ways it's harder to get the channel. Once you've started the channel, it's easier to maintain the channel because all you have to do is keep somebody on there, like a Rexar or, you know, Johanna, somebody who can really stand on the point for a good long time. And you know, you can get greater channel because of that. So some of those, you know, those standard heroes, just like you would have seen, you know, a while ago, Rexar, Chen, Sonya and Artanis, even to a certain point, Leoric, like, kind of expect to see some of those in the solo lane, but it's also not uncommon to see somebody like a Phoenix even. Although they did nerf his meme beam potential, as well as Ragnaros's lava wave potential, because that was the point of the drop pods, right? Because then you can't just eliminate all of the smaller minions with one ability.
Sure.
Zul Rule's calling out that he thinks they could have won after they got that Abba kill. I agree with you. I mean, at that point, they had almost nothing left in the tank on the Beast Coast side, so, you know, they went for the surefire victory rather than the potential to, you know, lose somebody and have to pull away.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because that's like one of the big problems I had on my old team was I'm a very aggressive player. And there were times where my team was not, right? And so there were times where it would be exactly like that. The Abba dies, and I'm like saying, go to the Nexus, let's end this. And 3 of our 5 members walk back and say, yeah, no, we're getting tribute. And then everything goes to complete crap. You just all of a sudden team communication fails, and you could very easily have that. So I'm actually happy that they went and played the safe, even though that's not what I would have done. It does make me happy that they stuck as a team and played it safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And on top of that, as somebody in this division who has played against both of these teams, in fact against Minion Miners, we had that same call where we had a call. The call wasn't picked up by the entire team, and it ended up costing us not just the game but the series. We went, instead of 2-0 over them, we actually went 1-2 because of that call. So it's important to have good communication and coordination with your team, and if you're not 100% confident that it's the right call, then don't make that call. But we're going to see bans flying out here. Sylvanas and Kel'Thuzad coming out from Minion Miners. Lunara and Lucio from Beast Coast. And of course I didn't write down everything from the last round. But those are the same bans that Beast Coast had last round, so no changes for them. Gul'dan going to be the first pickup. Gul'dan still gets a lot of value here, especially fighting over these control points, and the even the Zerg, allowing to have a faster clear of the Zerg. Let's see, that was Marsh. Okay. Thanks, Grievous. Saris Munkus pulling out the ETC and Kira. So I know that Munkus has played a fair bit of Kira and is looking forward to getting to play her in this match for sure. So Uther Stukov.
That's a lot of sustain.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that's a main tank Uther either.
No, you're totally right. That would not surprise me at all.
Let's see, new flash on Stukov again. Stukov also gets a ton of value here with the silence onto these control points. Can also interrupt moshes multiple ways. And there goes the false dead ban. You go back and write out the bans from last round because I forgot.
I guess the false dead bans probably to prevent that hinterland again across those control points. I don't know how much I like the false dead ban just because the map's so small.
Yeah, it also kind of with their team too. I can't imagine that they would go Falstad in the 4-man at this point. So, is Falstad gonna sit in the solo lane? Maybe, but what value does that provide? I don't know. But they do, if I remember correctly, they do play Falstad pretty regularly. So, I mean, fair enough.
I mean, it was played really well by Murderin. I think all of those hinterland blasts hit somebody. Most of them hit a couple players, so I definitely understand that. But yeah, just a little confused with it on from my perspective.
Well, and it can also provide a pretty big boost with a Mighty Gust. I mean, if you're looking to go for a mosh pit, I mean, it's going to be difficult to get both your Falstad and Gul'dan into that.
Yep. Yeah, and maybe that's more what they were thinking, is they don't want to be gusted off of a late game boss or something, and the gust is what they were more worried about, which is totally valid. And that being said, with the Zagara being picked up again, there's still the possibility that Globals would have just stomped Beast Coast if they had both of the Globals.
I wonder if they go Samuro here. I know that Fox plays Samuro, and he plays it pretty well. No, of course not. Of course not. Solo laner, right. So that's gonna be...
I like the Rexar. Definitely better than the Samuro.
Yeah, I was just trying to think if that would work, but that would put Kira in the solo lane, which I mean can work, but
yeah, not quite as much sustain as the Rexar. I also think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that one of Samuro's talents was banned. I don't know if it's a talent that's picked ever, or yeah. So maybe that came into consideration here as well.
It certainly could have. You know, the talent was banned because of its interaction with slows, and it basically double crits. So, you know, again, I don't know how often it was taken either. I'm not even remotely close to a Samuro player.
Yeah, who's Samuro? All I know is Samuro in Warcraft 3, man. That's the king right there.
Zool saying Fox's Samuro with solo Kira might have been better. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it may very well have been, because he's pretty solid on that here, and I think he could have gotten a lot done on here. But that's not how it played out. We've got Rexar here, and Rexar is going to provide a lot of value. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams. I'll start. We've got Beast Coast on the left, looking to get a point and send this to game 3. Monkus on the Kira, Secret 333 on Chromie, Super Goat on Rhaegar, Saris on ETC, and RGB Fox on the Rexar.
And on the right side, in the red, the Minion Miners leading this series 1-0, looking to move up into the first place spot here in Division B. We've got Himibo on the Uther, Marshhole on the Gul'dan, New Flesh on the Stukov, Murderin on the Thrall, and once again, Senor Mac of Chiz on the Zagara.
I'm kind of hungry. But check this out. Monkus going in deep, gets stunned by Uther, taking some free tower shots.
I'm wondering if that was a panic misclick or what. Like, maybe he didn't want to go into the... get stuck swinging into the base there. That was super aggressive, whatever it was. I have no idea.
Well, that was a much safer revolving sweep, but ultimately trying to secure the kill. ETC does go down. They do get the kill ultimately onto Uther, so 1 for 1.
Yeah, so one thing just real quick right there, I think that there was a lot of underestimation in how much heal potential is actually on this team. I mean, Uther has pretty solid heal potentials, and Stukov has a massive heal potential, and they tried to... Beast Coast tried to burst down that Uther, and they almost had him, and then he went from like no health to full health and was able to walk away from it. So I think that Beast Coast is going to have to be a little careful with the burst kills that they try to get. Well, but we'll see.
And ultimately here, Minion Miner's having a really good answer to the Kira, which is, you know, that's fine. You want a revolving sweep our target. We're going to drop our silence onto you. And then what are you going to do? You're not going to get your Carnage out. You're not going to get your, I don't know the name of the W ability, but ultimately that really limits your options when you're just stuck there and can't get out. Can't use a grappling hook even.
Yeah, so her W Blood Rage relies on those abilities to have landed, right? So, yeah, exactly. They can silence, they can stun if she comes in, and then they can root. So really, Kira on that revolving sweep she's going to have to be really, really smart and very careful when she uses it.
And keep in mind, too, grappling hook can be used when you're in revolving sweep, but there's that stun and silence as mentioned. And Kira able to get out. ETC entirely by himself, though, getting put in the time trap. I think that might have been maybe even an accident, as probably just a split second too early, hoping maybe to get the rest of Minion Miners instead of the ETC. Checking in on top here. So we do have right now the channel slightly in favor of Beast Coast at 36%. But the root stun combo onto Monkus there, using that grappling hook to get away. Super Goat able to get some healing out there, but again, I mean, that's a good 10-second cooldown or so for chain heal, so 10 or 12 or something like that. So it's going to take a while for that to be available again.
I'm actually really interested to see how Sir Mac of Cheese does up in the top lane. Zagara versus Rexar, I think, is a pretty good matchup, but Rexars on this map are always a pain, and the Rexar's not dominating, but he's doing a really good job against this Zagara right now.
Yeah, with the rotation from Thrall, that's going to allow them to maintain that pressure, and Thrall's going to go ahead and get onto that that siege camp right away here.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that a lot. Anything that can help this Zagara, while the heals in the bot lane are able just to out-sustain the bot lane of Beast Coast. Anything to help that Zagara is super beneficial in the early game here.
So I did just see here maybe the reason why that Chromie time trap went out, but here we go. Rhaegar diving in. They're trying to take out this Uther, but they just can't do it, and that's a 4v3. They can't get the kill onto the Uther. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Murderin and Mac and Cheese are able to take out the Rexar. But what I was going to say about the Chromie thing is, you know, Chromie at level 2, I guess, technically speaking, took time troubles. So maybe what she was looking to do was give ETC that 20 armor that her time trap provides to her allies. Maybe? I don't know. Seems kind of questionable.
Yeah, definitely a little confusing there.
But it also gives 20 armor penalty over to the enemy team, and it looks like as Chromie she is all done with that Q quest at level 1, so she's getting that bonus clone. And those clones do 40% of the base damage, so that's a pretty significant boost here. Now, Marshall, once again, this time the cleanse pulling Monkas off. No stun going out onto the Gul'dan there. And nearly a kill even. But with that, that's going to give the Beast Coast the full Zerg wave up in the top lane here.
Yeah, I think Zagara, like you said, when that Rexar fell a little while ago, Zagara was able to push that top gate, so this should even out the top lane. But if Rexar loses much more ground to Zagara, he's going to have a little bit of a hard time staying in that lane and keeping a high amount of pressure to be able to maintain that map control and use Misha there on that control point.
Yeah, for sure. So the rotation up, able to clear out that Zerg wave between the Gul'dan and Zagara very quickly. And now rotation right back down, but on the way they're going to pick up their Bruiser camp. And right now, Minion Miner's the only one really even looking at camps this game. Beast Coast hasn't really had a good opportunity to pull back and do so, which is why ultimately why they got the Zerg wave too.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. I was a little skeptical on the double support at first, but I actually really like it because it allows basically allows Thrall to rotate freely, and you just play 3v4 in the bot lane all day, but you don't care because you can just out-sustain any damage that's coming out. With the Chromie extra clone, that might start to fall, but just look at it. It's full health against now rapidly diminishing health on the side of Beast Coast. Purely from the heals.
And again, we are seeing here between the cleanse available from the Hand of Protection from Uther, which, by the way, is reduced on the cooldown every time he auto-attacks by 5 seconds, so that's a pretty significant reduction. But all of these abilities, putting Kira in awkward places, and the CCs, the Horrify, the Divine Storm, just obliterating ETC there.
Yeah, forcing the Rhaegar down into a kill as well. A really good engagement there from Minion Miners.
So level 10's available for both teams. So we do see for Zagara the Nidus Worm. We got the Flailing Swipe, the Sundering. We saw that Horrify, and of course the Divine Storm. So you know, about what you would expect. I could see an argument being made for Devouring Mob, but I mean, I still think that Nidus is just such a good pick in almost every case. Interesting picks on the other side, though. So we've got the Stage Dive from the ETC.
Yeah, to your Zagara comment, I just prefer Ma here just because of the small vicinity of those control points. But the ETC stage dive, I think you have to do here to counter the global range of that Nidus.
Yeah, and there's a lot of potential interrupts to Amash anyways, but there's... Oh my goodness, I was going to say there's a big chain onto Hemibo, but he just said, nah.
The Stukov giving him the arm. Said, get out of here, I'll just swipe you away.
Yeah, started with a D-Storm on the... by the way, all 4 members of Beast Coast who were there. Trying once again to get in onto Hemibo here on the Uther, but... I don't know that Uther is your target. He always gets bonus armor. We're going to see Stukov going down to Chromie, and ultimately they do secure the kill onto Thrall as well. Kira able to chase him down.
Yeah, Zag's getting pretty low in the top lane here, and going to get jumped on by the Kira, so Monk is securing that kill on the Zagara. Did a great job there.
So that's going to give Beast Coast the opportunity to push a little bit here, and also, by the way, get the Zerg wave.
Yeah, and really, Minion Miners can't really do much in to counter this Zerg wave coming out. Monk is jumping on the Gul'dan again. Minion Miners might be falling apart a little bit here after those level 10 Talonteers.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, they do have a really solid potential for CC chains. You know, they've got the disengage, they've got the big D-Storm with Sundering, all kinds of ways that they can lock down heroes, but then they kind of just have to wait and sustain through the whole thing. And if they can kind of stop focusing on the Uther as the primary target, I think they've got a much better chance.
Yeah, hands down, I agree. I think that Minion Miners realized that was happening early, and so they've kind of been clustering around the Uther as the Kira starts that sweep. But Beast Coast hasn't really adjusted and stopped going after the Uther. And to your point, the Uther, how many times has the Uther fallen? Uther's only died once, so Beast Coast has basically committed every attack straight onto the Uther, and he's only died once.
Yep, and not quite in this case. You know, I think the reason that they were looking at the Uther was because he's the one target that cannot be cleansed. So that gives Munkus a little bit better control over his own positioning. The problem is that then when you come back in on your revolving sweep, you're into the D-Storm. And you're into this, like, you just get screwed. I was gonna drop a different word, but you know, not favorite for NGS, even though it is 11:53 and everybody's kids should be well asleep by now. So once again, the camps coming out from Minion Miners, but now we're actually seeing Beast Coast picking up their camps as well. That was a pretty significant push for them in the bot lane, getting all the way to the keep, getting the kill onto the Stukov, you know, and for what it's worth, hey, it's a whole lot easier to kill people when they don't have a second support nearby to help out.
Oh, the CTC stage diving in, looking to get the kill on the Zagara. There's a lot of stun chains on her. The flailing swipe might save her here. She does get slowing sands and will be picked up by the Chromie. Gul'dan going down as well. That was actually, for what looked to be a stage dive complete whiff, turned into a massive pickup for Beast Coast.
Yeah, absolutely. Giving them that 5v4 advantage on a team that was pretty well split. Zagara going up into the top there. And now with 2 kills, they're going to be able to pick up this boss. And look at how quickly they tear this thing apart.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage. I think it's mainly from the Kira, but there is a lot of damage coming out.
Yeah, I mean, Chromie puts a lot of single target damage out there as well with that extra clone, especially. So
yeah,
between those two, they're definitely doing a lot. All right, Minion Miners back on the map. No Rexar with Beast Coast now, as Rexar's heading down to deal with that camp in the bot lane. But once again, top lane opened up for Beast Coast. They now have the fort down in both lanes. and
I think
help the
they'll keep
boss.
pushing because of the 16 talent tier advantage, which Minion Miners is not going to see for at least a couple minutes here.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of damage coming out from that boss, but ultimately, you know, getting healed up between Stukov and Uther. Rexar here able to play the backline game of, hey, I'm gonna go pick up these control points and get channeling started. But we see a bit of a bush gank here coming in. Mac of Cheese a little bit close, but not close enough. And
yeah,
they're just letting the channel go at this point. Minion Miners are trying to set up maybe to get a kill, but ETC goes with the stage dive, power slides in onto the Zagara, but Monkus in a lot of danger here, but the Ancestral keeping him nice and healthy. Zagara's going to be the first kill. Ghoul Dan getting very low as well, and Stukov using that flailing swipe, trying to get away, just not going to happen.
Yeah, so there was a time, like, I don't know, probably 4 years ago where dual support was basically a go-to. I don't know if you played or remember that time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Me playing competitive support, that time was glorious, but it was also pretty boring because a lot of the games were just kind of like timed deaths. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. The dual support, I don't think really gives enough damage output. I think Minion Miners was really relying on Marshall to just deal out damage, and he hasn't done quite enough, I don't think.
Well, with this
and
full
they have
Zerg wave, they're already taking down the keep. They still have a lot of Zerg left and available here, but Monk is going in deep.
Yeah, that was a pretty massive engage there. 4-man sweep. Not able to secure any kills and almost lost his life in the meantime, but I think that'll do it.
It's looking very good here for Beast Coast, and with that powerful Zerg wave, what a game coming out from Beast Coast, really pushing their advantage, getting level 10s, and turning this game 180 degrees.
Yeah, really. Totally agree. It went from kind of a slow start to 100% Kira at the end there. The damage output at Chromie and Kira both, I mean, the damage output was insane from Beast Coast. And really convincing to go from last game, which was kind of convincingly lost by Beast Coast, to this game was night and day different.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. They did a really good job in this game, you know, being patient, didn't lose a whole lot in the early game, you know, waiting until they knew that they could ultimately secure those kills, and, you know, those stage dives were absolutely clutch, securing the kills onto Zagara both times. I remember 2. I don't remember if there were 3. You know, but Kira going in, you know, seemingly recklessly at times. Like, by the time she even gets in, she's at half health. But then if they can secure the kill, then who cares, right? Your health bar is just a resource. As long as it's greater than 1, you're just fine, right?
Yep, I 100% agree. And yeah, I think there were only 2 stage dives. Like I said, one of them looked like a total miss, but ETC did a great job. And I think that the Rexar got a stun, barely got a stun on the Zagara as well to push that stun from the ETC. The stage dives were well timed and well placed.
Yeah, for
sure. You can't argue with that.
Mega Muffin calling out that he doesn't think Minion Miners has played Braxis Hold this season, so fair enough. Good call on that. So game number 3 here between these two teams. So that automatically, let's take a look at the standings here again real quick, just to see where this goes. So no change for Beast Coast. Beast Coast is 4th place now with the 1 point, just a little bit more secured. Minion Miners now sitting at 28 points, so that's going to put them securely in 2nd place. I don't know if there are any other games that have not yet been played. We can actually find that out pretty easily, I think.
I do not see any. Oh, there's 2. Real Ultimate Mosh Pit versus Dive Hard and Almost Legends. Oh, but those games are... never mind, they've withdrawn.
Yeah.
I could read. It's nice.
So let's see. But there should be... Okay, Murky's Hit Squad and Rush B, which is down lower. So this secures those positions in the playoffs. So Minion Miners sitting at 2nd, Beast Coast sitting at 4th. There's nothing that's going to change that no matter who wins this. So really the only thing up for grabs here now would be Rush B and Murky's Hit Squad. And either of those teams, both of them sitting at 18 points now, either of those teams could leapfrog over Reborn Knights Black potentially up to 6th place. Maintain Uther's win rate. Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. The first place dream for Minion Miners. Yep, not quite able to make it now.
They wanted it. They definitely wanted it. But hey, 2nd place, not too shabby.
All right, let's see here where we're going. There it is. So, all right, so another Toon Lane map. We're now going to Battlefield of Eternity. And you should be able to join off me if you haven't already, but I think I can invite you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
So Battlefield of Eternity, another 2-lane map, can be a very early game map. You know, depending on how well you do, how quickly you can get to those level 10s. If you can, you know, you can win this game on the, well, I guess technically the first Immortal, but really the second Immortal relatively easily, quote unquote, if you can get those level 10s ahead of your opponent and get some solid push. So it wouldn't surprise me to see, you know, a slightly adjusted draft from these teams to focus a little bit more on the early game.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that neither of them have really had much of a brawl composition, which I think we'll probably see more of here. I think Battlefield of Eternity has always been very, very team fight heavy.
Oh my goodness.
It'll be like the hour-long game of nobody dying.
Yep. I guess we'll see. So we may very well. This game 3 means almost nothing in the grand scheme of things. Casters ready. So we could see literally anything from these teams. I mean, we could see something like, we could see Juice Pirates on Battlefield of Eternity. We could see the Lost Vikings on Battlefield. Actually, I wonder if they might even be. That might be an interesting setup. Like, it could literally be anything on this map at this point, because neither team gets or loses anything from this last game. So
I'm waiting for the Abathur hat Murky.
Dude, I want to see an Abathur hat Murky. Like, I tried to convince somebody to give me the hat earlier when I was playing Murky. Like, I tried to get an Uther to give me a D shield. I'm like, dude, I'm level 20. I've got all these slimes. Give me the D shield.
Nobody else is dying, so.
I mean, surely somebody else was dying, but I mean, who cares? Murky, you know?
I've given Murky the D shield multiple times, numerous times.
All right, so it sounds way worse when you say it than when I said it. I don't know why.
Well, I wasn't trying to make it sound worse.
I know, it just doesn't sound like as good of an idea. But that's okay.
Naming, to be honest, naming a talent D anything is probably not the right decision. At least for a kid's game.
Fair enough. All right, so sticking with our round 1 and round 2 bans, we're going to see the exact same start with the Lunara and Sylvanas. I am not surprised to see the Kira ban. That was a very strong performance, and I think she would do really well here.
Yeah, perfect map for Kira for sure. We might get to see the Samuro here. Maybe.
We might. We may very well. Let's see. I'm writing down the drafts that we saw earlier because I forgot to write them down. Just need to screenshot them or something. So Artanis going to be the first pick. We saw an Artanis in game 1. Not a too big of a deviation.
Yeah, well, I guess it was Marshall on the Artanis as well. So yeah, nothing crazy so far.
Yep.
I was just gonna say I want to see Kel'Thuzad Jaina. I really want to see Kel'Thuzad Jaina, and maybe Arthas. Just do a Frost comp. It would make my night. I'd be so happy.
Well, we're gonna see the ETC. So ETC was very pivotal in the success of the team last game. So looking forward to seeing how they perform in this one. And a Tyrael Li Ming.
That's pretty brutal for ETC. Although it probably forces the stage dive, which was happening anyways. So maybe not as bad as it looks.
I don't know. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I might say it in a couple seconds, but we'll see. Let's see. Stukov gonna be the ban here, and again, you know, we did see Stukov was absolutely just brutal for the Kira in the last game. Ultimately, you know, they were able to work their way through it, but it was still quite a bit of danger there. So I like to see the Stukov ban, especially on a map like BOE.
Yeah, I mean, every Stukov that I've played against recently has had like well into the triple digits of healings, even on pretty short games. So I definitely like the Stukov ban. We haven't really seen any other healers from Minion Miners. So I like the Stukov ban, to be honest. I'm still wanting the Jaina Arthas. Not what I wanted.
Oh my goodness. Oh, are they they're doing it. Okay. They're just gonna shred this Immortal as quickly as possible between the Artanis and Gazlo.
We're gonna see
Though.
Murky.
You think?
I don't know. Not really. Probably not. Not with this comp.
Murky into Gazlo.
Yeah.
There's this.
There it is. Yeah, should be not quite the troll game that we thought might happen, but
you know what?
Should be.
Excuse me. There are plenty of heroes here. Sorry, that you just don't see in competitive play very often. I mean, I don't know if White Main's even been played at all in NGS this season, but certainly, I mean, I've done, I don't know, this might be 69 or 70 casts now, and I've not seen one that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen her on ladder either, which is kind of surprising, because when I stopped, like, I might exaggerate my break a little bit, because it's only been a couple months, but when I stopped, she was first pick, first ban, like, almost every time, and that was, you know, even a couple months after she was released. But yeah, playing the past couple weeks, I haven't seen her at all. I still think she's a great healer, but...
Well, here we go. We're getting into game number 3 here. Let's get these teams introduced. All tied up. On the left, we have Beast Coast, Secret 333 on Kel'Thuzad, Saris on ETC Munkus, on the Raynor, Super Goat on Lily, and RGB Fox on the Samuro.
And on the right, our red team, the Minion Miners, we've got Murderin on the Gazlo, Marshhole on the Artanis, Senor Mac of Cheese on the Li Ming, Himibo gonna be playing the, I don't even know, Tyrael. And Newflash gonna be picking up the White Mane. I got super distracted by Daribo's comment in chat. I do not think you can play a troll game without picking Zul'jin,
I tend to agree.
especially if there's already a Gazlo.
So I was talking about this the other day here with, actually I think it was yesterday with Butte Holiday, about this Li Ming pick. So taking the Power Hungry, which I realize is like the old school, you know, rank 1 NA talent, but I feel like on a map like BOE, it's trash. Like I'm just gonna call it what it is. Like you're not fighting in globe territory for minutes at a time. So literally any other talent to me is better than Power Hungry.
So it's funny that you say that, because like back when Varian first came out, I went Varian main for a very long time, and I always picked the talent that has like massive healing if things die next to you, and people would always call me out for it. And finally somebody was like, dude, that talent's trash because you're never fighting around minions anyways.
Right.
And it was just like this eye-opening, like, oh my god, that's how this talent works. You know, something that I probably should have realized and known. Totally over my head.
Yeah, Victory Rush, yeah.
A little bit embarrassing. And yeah, I can kind of understand, like, Power Hungry, the globes coming out after an Immortal goes down. But you've got to win the Immortals, and the enemy team has to stick around for a fight for you to get those bonuses. So
yeah,
I
exactly.
definitely agree.
Well, we see the power slide in onto Tyrael, but he's able to pop that smite and get out of dodge there. Some of these other talents, you know, as expected. Of course, the amateur opponent coming out, Exterminator for Raynor. I don't know the name of the talent. Wind Serpent for Lili is going to be clutch. Gonna help to slow down the potential damage coming out from Artanis and Gazlo when he gets Robo-Goblin at 10. I'm assuming he's going Robo-Goblin at least. But we'll see here. Gazlo coming down, that's going to send Li Ming back. Also, just of note here, this is really the first time that Senor Mac of Cheese has been able to be part of the team, at least with any consistency, because, of course, it's been Zagara for the last couple of games.
Yeah. He probably doesn't really like the fact that he's being included this game.
And who can blame him? Have to be around your
Guys, I just
teammates.
want to kill things. Leave me alone.
Right. Both Shaman camps picked up here a little bit later for Minion Miners. Probably a little bit of advantage there, but we're going to see Kel'Thuzad getting really low. Supergoat trying to keep him up, but the
Curse slammed.
Cups just not enough to keep Kel'Thuzad alive there. Not against the full pressure from Minion Miners.
No, Mac and Cheese getting around behind for the flank did a really good job with those arcane missiles to go ahead and pick up that kill.
So we see here Beast Coast coming in, looking to defend. They don't have Kel'Thuzad or Samuro. Samuro going to actually get started on the Immortal, along with Kel'Thuzad maybe? No, Kel'Thuzad's maybe coming.
Slowly making his way across. I don't know what happened there on his mount. It looks like he demounted. Maybe he got hit by that Immortal. Does land a nice Frost Blast there.
So checking in, let's see how many stacks he's got. 8 stacks so far, so still pretty far away from getting that bonus 75% spell damage. But Monk is in danger here as the Immortal knocking Hemibo away. But look at these blue health bars. They are so low. And Mac of Cheese looking to get that kill to get the resets, but not going to happen. And now the Immortal going over to Beast Coast.
Mac of Cheese came out of nowhere in that fight, kind of sitting back, and then all of a sudden landed a couple big spells, which took out all the health there from the side of Beast Coast. But like you said, not quite enough. Just a little, maybe a little gut wrenching for a second, and the realization hits that, well, no, we're all right.
So Samuro died. Apparently, presumably in the bot lane, because he wasn't here.
Yeah, so remember how I said Mac of Cheese does not like to be with the group?
Yes.
Definitely not a team player, this guy.
Yep. So the Immortal getting the wall down and about maybe 20% or so of the fort's health. And you know what, for Li Ming, I mean, I don't know, in some ways a Samuro can be a nice easy target because you can hit him easily, you get the Calamity, so you get that boosted damage. But I mean, Samuro's strong into Li Ming too. I mean, if he can get that sneak out with his Windwalk, I mean, Li Ming just melts. She has no health.
Yeah, and anything that generates blockers, as I call them, for those orbs, really helps a lot. So those, like you said, it's kind of a double-edged sword because it makes it those mirror images make them easier to hit and get the bonus, but they definitely absorb a lot of damage as well that could be going directly onto the Samuro.
So we do see here Beast Coast picking up that top fort, finishing all of the 80% or so remaining health. But the bottom camp picked up by Minion Miners. And not a lot of defense here. So they are rotating in now. And a big stun from Kel'Thuzad. Mac of Cheese in danger. And if Secret finishes that quest here, sitting at 21 now, that would have been at least one dead, maybe even two dead.
Oh, the Gazlo getting picked. Should fall here. Yep, that'll do it.
And the swap coming out from Marshall onto ETC, but ETC just walks away. He doesn't care. But Raynor cares as Monk is going to go to the graveyard. ETC power sliding in, trying to get the additional tower shots onto Marshall. But the minions are here along with the siege camp still. So almost level 10 here for Minion Miners.
Yeah, I would like to see them actually get level 10 here and go heal.
But they can race. I mean, it's on their safe side at this point, so...
Yeah, and it makes sense to at least get that to half.
And it's very close. I mean, both teams pretty close to half here. But this is going to favor Minion Miners as level 10 is now available. I do want to shout out Arcane there for the 500 bits in chat. Thank you very much. Please tell Fatlock much love for my favorite Div B East tank.
Money. Yeah, I agree with that comment right there. Awesome to support the streamers. Awesome to support the people supporting the community. It's, you know, a lot of people say that the HOTS community is awesome, and it will continue to grow. And that's true. You know, people that support it, people will keep it up. And that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you again. And here we are. Level 10's available for both teams. And Beast Coast, by the way, able to pick up that Immortal. I think they were a little bit behind originally, but... what do we got? Samuro and Gazlo up top. So... Purification beam onto the Kel'Thuzad, so... That's okay, he didn't have a whole lot going on anyway. And that Immortal, thanks to pulling him back from the structure, that Immortal is able to secure now a second fort. I think.
Yeah, not much.
Kime. Yeah, he's only got 5 more to go, and you know, Kel'Thuzad has been pretty brutal going into Minion Miners. So, you know, once he completes this quest, some of these lower health heroes, your Gazlo, your Li Ming, your White Mane, who by the way has to stand perfectly still to cast her little laser of light. I mean, those heroes just die.
So I've got to take a second and ask. New Flash has a sweet mount. Super Goat has the same mount. I hope to God that this was not like a limited time mount because I want to buy it.
It might be. It might be. Remind me after the game is done, and I'll look up what it is and check for you. It's like Bark. I don't remember. Bark something, I think.
It's too good.
Or Barco. It's maybe, is that Barco Polo? No. I don't know.
The Cone of Shame is what makes that. Oh, the cleanse.
Cleanse is huge. Oh, but look at the mosh pit! Finally getting interrupted, but locking him down for a few moments there. No kills.
A lot of damage, but no kills.
And it should be
Only
noted
4 kills.
that was a 4v5 as Samuro is up in the top lane doing Samuro things.
Yeah, silly Samuro. Yeah, pretty crazy that there's only been 4 kills in this game. There's been a lot of action, and it feels like there should be more kills.
Yeah, and look at all the pressure now. Top lane and bot lane, we've got Samuro helping out with the Illusion Master to keep things moving forward. Gazlo and Li Ming are trying to do what they can to stall those out, but that's giving... Yeah, I was gonna say that's giving Beast Coast the time to get some damage on the Immortal, but they're being fairly defensive about it here.
Yeah, I think wanting to maximize that push ability on the top lane, that siege camp there.
And there's the completion of the quest, and there goes Artanis. Full combo onto the Artanis. And keep in mind now, Kel'Thuzad also, his level 10 ult was adjusted. It gained the full functionality of the level 20 former version of the ult, giving him an instant reset on his Shadow Fisher when it hits a hero. So significant burst potential coming out from Kel'Thuzad with any kind of lockdown. So
He's also got phylactery already, which... Not that he will die, but is kind of nice if he does.
Well, there goes the judgment onto Lily this time. No cleanse available for her, but there is a power slide. And once again, with just a single catapult, Fox in the top lane able to start getting pressure into this keep wall. And they're trying to chase down his clones now. Switching around, able to secure there. Finally, Beast Coast able to pick up the Immortal, and they're looking very strong in this game. You know, the last game in Braxis, once they hit level 10, they really you know, put the pedal to the metal, so to speak. And so far they're doing the same here. Tantrum, thank you very much for the subscription. Really appreciate it. Make sure you check out the emotes. They're available now from Alpha and Al. Just type in the Aero of and it'll show you, or I guess you can just hit the little pop-up. But Immortal has made it to the bottom keep wall. Gazlo trying to defend the push that was up in the top lane.
Yeah, I feel like Beast Coast is a 2-lane team. So in the tournament, if anybody plays them, they should just ban the 2-lane maps. These have been two totally different game styles in the 2 lanes compared to the 3-lane games.
For sure, and Beast Coast playing with a couple of different different players than normal too, because of some adjustments to their lineup here. What a swap! I didn't think that was going to hit anything onto Saris, but that just put Marshall in a terrible place. Keep goes down now, and Immortal hitting on the core. It's not really going to get any damage, but the full wall down up in top again, thanks to that Illusion Master.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those games where you're playing and then you just lose and you don't realize why you lost, and it's why you lost, why you lost, and then you realize like, oh, somebody's been solo pushing one lane and we didn't even know, because all these fights have been so close and the focus has been on the brawls that this solo push has just kind of wrecked minion miners, to be honest.
Well, and we're about to find out if Fox has been paying attention to his talent bans here, because that would be an unfortunate moment if... Oh, he didn't. Okay, good. So no merciless strikes at 16, so not an auto loss. That would be unfortunate to be, you know, pushing this far ahead and then suddenly lock a talent accidentally or something.
Fat finger, control 2, whatever it is. Yeah, that would be unfortunate. I don't know how strict the teams are with that, but at this point, and partly because this game doesn't matter, I would kind of hope that minion miners wouldn't even report that. They just wouldn't care. But yeah, that would be one of those, like, the whole team's like, what the hell, man? What What were you thinking?
Right.
Didn't you read the only message that we sent you today?
Right, yeah, exactly. All right, well, Immortal's coming back up here, so, and they are on the defensive side, so it's going to allow Beast Coast to get right up on there, and already a big lead on the Immortal damage.
Yeah, Beast Coast dominating some more.
Beast Coast 20 is way stronger, says Megamuffin. Only gets worse for Minion miners. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely not going to get easier from this point with all of the structures down here. But there's the judgment onto Lili with the laser. Super Goat going down, and the Kel'Thuzad combo obliterating Artanis, followed up by the Tyrael. And now they're a little bit on the defensive. ETC trying to run away here.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh my god, the combo again! Oh my goodness! And a full team wipe, and we see Beast Coast making their way to the core. There's not a long death timer here, but long enough.
There probably doesn't even need to be a death timer, and this would have been a GG.
Yeah, they've got some pretty significant single target damage.
Yeah, and there's enough of a level lead at this point that with how this game's gone, it was looking pretty grim for Minion miners for a long time.
Oh no, my KDA. All right, now I don't recall. Do you happen to recall who banned first in that at all? Who picked that map? I don't know who picked that map.
Banned first was Beast Coast.
Okay.
Almost positive. Almost.
All right. I'll put that on the thing, and if that's not correct, then so be it. All right, we're gonna go ahead and hop over into lobby 5. I think Monkus is quite excited to do a quick interview here, so let's go ahead and zip on over.
Right on.
Alrighty, welcome Monkus. Congratulations, 2-1 over Minion miners. I don't even have to ask you how you feel. I already know, but tell all the people at home how you feel.
I am freaking ecstatic right now. Due to complications with the team, we weren't able to field our main roster tonight, so we brought in a lot of subs. We had people playing positions that they weren't used to. I just told my team, guys, you know what? Don't worry about winning. Just focus on having fun, and we'll just go with that. And game 1, you know, they out-macroed us. They beat us. So we decided, you know what? Let's mix things up. Let's go to a map that we like and to finish up the night. And we went to Braxis, and then from there, things just kept going our way.
And boy, did they! You know, the beginning of Braxis was very was fairly balanced, right? I mean, there was some push both sides. You know, they got more camps, but you ultimately were able to get the Zerg wave almost entirely out of that. But it looked like they could clear it, you know, relatively well. So it looked like it was pretty even. And then level 10 came online, and it was just like game over. It was just one thing after another in your guys' favor, and that continued straight into Battlefield of Eternity, where you guys, you know, we said it a couple of different times, a couple of different ways. Like Kel'Thuzad came online, and it was just dead Artanis, dead Artanis, dead Artanis, dead Gazlo with Li Ming. Like the combos coming out from Kel'Thuzad were absolutely just bonkers. And so, you know, just want to make sure to shout out there to who was it? Secret. Yeah, Secret playing that Kel'Thuzad. Really solid combos coming out.
Yeah, he's one of the best at that character. I was telling my team as we went into there, I said, look, guys, they only have 2 bans. They can't ban every problem character that we have. And I knew that they were going to ban Sylvanas, since Sylvanas has been like a key part of our strategy for like a lot of these games, and people have identified that. I said they can't ban Sylvanas and Kira and Kel'Thuzad and every other problem that they had last game. They had to let something through. And so when Sylvanas and Kira were banned, I was like, all right, man, go wild. And that's what happened.
Yeah, it was a really strong pick. You guys played it well. And of course, not just a couple of hours ago, we got to talk a little bit about Kira. So, let's talk about your Kira spec there. So, again, a little bit of a different setup. You went for that Carnage talent at 1 and a couple of other talents that were a little bit different. What do you think of those changes, and why specifically for those talents did you go that route?
Well, yeah, I used to go all in on the blood build, but I made 2 alterations to it recently after doing some experimentation. I go the Carnage at 1, especially against targets that I feel like I can do a combo on. And what I really do is that when I hit the E, immediately after I hit the E, I am lining up my Q and throwing it out to land the second that I'm done with that, so that I automatically get that extra damage and slow. And yeah, I take the Healy Dooley on minus 50% health people, because that's just so much healing. Like, I can't tell you how many times I was in those fights and it was just like, oh, sudden self-ancestral healing, thanks bro, and just kept fighting. And yeah, with me taking that Carnage talent at 1, that also means that at 13 I also take the Carnage talent there, because then I'm just throwing them out all the time, left and right.
Right, for sure. So, one of the things that we noticed early on in the game was that they were doing really well with putting down the silence at the feet of whoever you were using your revolving sweep on. So, what kind of adjustments did you have to make? Or did you just basically say, screw it, I don't care? Which certainly in some of those cases, you went into an Uther D-Storm immediately after coming out. But, what kind of adjustments did you have to make because of the heroes that they were playing with that?
Well, a few times I just went on the merry-go-round and just let it expire without going for the stun and walked away, because nobody expects that. But oftentimes what I felt myself doing was engaging just on the Stukov. Like, he would, like, the silence is an amazing ability, but it roots you and makes you vulnerable to dive. And like, I would just, okay, he's starting to do the channel with Pesh, and then I'm on him. And once I got on to Stukov, it didn't feel like he had a lot of tools to get me off of him.
Yeah, other than the Uther Hand of Protection, which I think came out on him once or twice, it was very clear, like, the Kira was a big problem for them, and Panda here and I were kind of joking about, as long as you've got 1 health, it doesn't matter, you're going in, right? Like, what are they gonna do? You're rotating, they can't do anything to you, and then you get the stun and you get a big burst heal when you come out of it, so who cares? And you were able to convert several of those into kills on Stukov, onto Zagara, and Gul'dan. Yeah,
they picked Gul'dan pretty early in the draft, I think.
Oh, yeah, I think it was their 2-3, I think, maybe.
Yeah, and I think Kira is amazing against Gul'dan. Like, he starts, doing his drain life, and then I'm like, oh, he's at like a 3rd health. I just do a raw ult, and I can kill him unless he gets the hell out of the way. And since so many of Kira's abilities get powered up for sub 50% health, having a guy who's at low health on their back line really helps my engagement.
Sure. One other thing for you, and then I'm going to let Panda here ask some questions. What did you guys remind Fox about the ban on the talent for Samuro on level 16?
Oh, he doesn't take that talent unless he has an Abathur hat.
Well, there you go. That makes it easy then. I was watching the level 16s come online, and I was just like, man, it's gonna be a sad day if he picks a banned talent when they're pushing so well into this. But of course he didn't. So
yeah, we had a long discussion about that. He's like, "Don't worry, I don't take that talent unless I have an Abathur hat." And I said, "Okay."
Yeah. Well, good deal. Panda, what questions do you have here for Munkus?
Yeah, so only 2 questions from me. The first question, when you saw the double support coming out on Braxis holdout, were you guys expecting that at all, or is that something that is even common? And what kind of adjustments did you guys make when you saw that?
I mean, it's something we've prepared for when we fought other teams. It's not something we prepared for specifically for Minion Miners. We've talked about it a bunch, and I think we're in a good place with our support and our tank in that situation. Because I really got to give a shout out to Sidley for playing a role that he isn't supposed to be playing. He was on tank and he did an excellent job tonight. And yeah, I just felt like the double support meant that they had a lot less straight up peel and a lot less engagement opportunities. I think they did better when they were full on the dive, like in game 1. Like once they got into our backline in game 1, like we didn't feel like we could do much, and it might just be a symptom of the fact that we took Johanna instead of ETC, and Johanna can't peel as well. But
yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense, and actually follows directly into my second question. Just responding to your first response, I think that hits the nail on the head, right? They didn't have any counter push. They really had no counter pressure, and you guys kind of just slow rolled them on Braxis. The second question is, in your composition and your setup, and you guys, like you said, you're confident in what you've got, so no sense in changing it. We saw actually, in the 3-lane map, you guys didn't necessarily perform as well as you did in the 2-lane maps. And I'm curious if that's something that you think your team is stronger on, is those 2-lane maps, or that just has to be kind of how the dice fell today.
I think it's kind of just how the dice fell today. I think I played the worst in game 1 that I've played all season. I died so many times to really dumb things. I wasn't able to really execute anything well, and it felt like our backline just kept getting dove on over and over. And after that point, I just I know that it used to be a weakness of our team, the 2-lane maps early in this season, and people have been taking us to 2-lane maps. And so we have made it, a thing to practice the 2-lane maps and what we need to do on them. And that practice has paid dividends, essentially.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome to hear.
All right, well, Munkus, my last question for you, right?
No.
Oh, man, how many of these casts have you been on?
I have a bad memory.
That's okay.
And I'm too pumped up right now from the game. The adrenaline is still,
understandable.
Racing.
Well, then this is going to be perfect for you, because my question for you is, what was your favorite moment from this series with Minion Miners? And you can only pick one. We don't have all night.
Probably actually getting the boss on Braxis. I can't tell you how many times in practice and execution that we have done the boss on Braxis and then thrown by doing the boss on Braxis.
For sure. Yep.
And so to actually have a game where we really and truly got the boss on Braxis, it's like, yeah, we've turned around, guys. This is the moment when I know it's real. So
and you guys,
the boss on Braxis.
You guys ripped that super fast too. Like, it was at half health before we even really had a chance to highlight it, because we were paying attention to something else. It was very fast. So, well, excellent job, excellent play here tonight, Munkus. So with the 2 points that you guys got, that puts you at 26. So that's going to put you securely at 4th place. Minion Miners is going to be secured at 2nd place. So it looks like the division is pretty well set. You'll be playing against Jailbait in the first round. So you know what? Floor is yours for shout outs and anything you want to say out to your soon to be next opponents.
I'd like to give a shout out to my team, especially since they, a lot of people were either subbing in or playing roles that they weren't accustomed to, like Supa for, subbing in when we needed him to, Sidley, Sarah's for playing tank, even though that's not the role that he's most comfortable on. I'd like to also thank Fox and Secret for, sticking with the team and doing a great job in these past couple of games. And a special shout out to Mega Muffin, who is really like the brains of our operation, who does a lot of the research involved that we need to do. He really came through for us in these games, even though I found out later on that one of the characters that we were banning, Lucio, the guy who plays that was not there tonight. I was just following my notes pretty rigidly.
See, that's why you need my scouting report. But go on.
And a shout out to Arrogant Nephilim, our sister team, and once again, just a shout out to my team together, because we've been through a lot this season, various amounts of drama and whatnot, and I think that we've managed to stick together, and I'm looking forward to playing in the off season with these this great group of guys, and going into the next season with them too.
Right on. Well, thank you very much for joining us here, Munkus. Again, congratulations on your victory. Go enjoy some time with your team. I know how exciting that is after getting a big win like that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for the cast. It's always a pleasure.
Sure. Alrighty, and so that's gonna wrap us up tonight here. So, MrSadPanda, anything you'd like to say out to Twitch chat before we take off for the evening?
Not too much. I'd just like to give a big thanks to you for letting me jump in as rusty as I am. I hope it was entertaining. Thanks again to everybody that supported Aero tonight. Like I said in the cast, the support is really what feeds the community, and it's awesome that you guys come out and watch. Big thanks to NGS as a whole. Running an organization like that is not easy, and so the guys, I think, have done an excellent job. I think they've made the step into casting awesome, and thanks again, Aero, for letting me sit in tonight, and hopefully I'll see you guys in some casts, either here or of my own, in the near future.
For sure.
So thanks.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. Everybody, thank you very much for stopping by tonight here. Just as a reminder, on Sunday, we'll have at 2 p.m. Eastern on the NGS twitch.tv/Nexus Gaming Series page, the NGS Rewind, where we're going to catch up on some of the matches that did not get cast throughout the week. This is the final week of regular season. We go into playoffs next week, so I'm sure there'll be a big push to clean up some of the leftover replays that haven't yet been done. But that's it. There are only a few games left in the season. Make sure you catch those here. Watch the Hype channel from Arcane for the schedule, and good luck, everybody. You got playoffs coming up if you qualified, and if not, well, get out there and practice, but support those teams that did. Thanks again. Aero saying good night, and I'm going to send you over to somebody who's probably playing Warcraft, because that's all anybody ever seems to be doing right now. So thanks again for stopping by, and we'll see you again here very soon.